Welcome to this category management tip brought to you by the Category Management Knowledge Group, taken from an excerpt in our Catman Masters training on deployment, supply chain, and ROI. I will be addressing why it's critical for deployment and supply chain to be key considerations in category management according to Catman 2.0. Let's start with deployment, which is identified in Catman 2.0 as a big obstacle to the successful implementation of category management. Regardless of how effective your category plan is, it will be limited in its success, or even fail, with poor deployment. And the problem is that most Catman practitioners don't pay much attention to the details of this important step. Deployment is not only important for one party within a retailer. In fact, there are many different parties involved in deployment for both the retailer and supplier. On the retailer side, while the buyer may have deployment authority at the retailer, deployment responsibility may reside with multiple retail departments who either supply essential instructions and materials or execute the directions provided. These may include retailer personnel responsible for space planning, retail promotions, retail pricing, retail equipment and fixtures, and store operations. Similarly, on the supplier side, deployment includes the account sales team, third-party agents such as brokers, distributors, and promotion agencies, manufacturing, finance, category management, brand marketing, and shopper marketing. Also, based on the study, deployment is highly inefficient. The ISI share group estimated that 86% of inventory on hand in food stores reflects quantities in excess of 7 days' supply, resulting either from poor deployment or poor shelf and supply chain work. This oversupply stock has a value of $46 billion and net cost to the grocery industry of $3.3 billion per year. The other area where deployment is inefficient is in display, where approximately half of all authorized displays are either not built or built late, contributing to loss of sales and shopper dissatisfaction. I talked in our Assortment Masters course about the move from centralized to store cluster and localized store assortments and planograms. Deployment is becoming more complex as assortments and planograms are becoming more granular. This is in part due to blurring the lines of authority between retail headquarters and the store manager. Management needs a strong understanding of the trade-offs between meeting localized needs and the real implementation costs of doing so. So in net, there's an opportunity to fix these deployment and compliance issues, and the value of doing this is significant in retail. In our full course, you will learn what's required to fix this huge deployment issue. Now I want to talk more specifically about some of the supply considerations from Catman 2.0. There are three stakeholders in the supply chain: the retailer, the supplier, and, most importantly, the shopper. All these stakeholders have a common interest in having the right product in the right place at the right time. Shoppers cannot buy that which is not available on shelf or online. Neither suppliers nor retailers can generate profit from a SKU that is not available for the shopper to buy. Based on this, it is in everyone's interest to ensure that these two major value streams, the demand-side value stream known as category management, and the supply-side process often referred to as the supply chain, connect seamlessly with one another in an efficient and effective manner. When this does not occur, out of stocks in store, expensive inventory buildups across the supply chain, and higher manufacturing costs can all occur. I want to spend some time now addressing some of the causes of the misalignment between category management and the supply chain. When category management was developed back in the 1980s as part of an ECR initiative, One of the first things that the committee did was to separate the demand-side activities, which the committee called category management, from the supply-side process, which they called supply chain. So these two major complementary and interwoven processes were separated long ago to facilitate their development by separate groups within the overall committee. Reconnecting the two major processes themselves was largely ignored. The failure to link these two processes is an opportunity for improvement, as identified by Catman 2.0, to integrate these two major processes for the benefit of all the stakeholders. Most supplier category managers are unfamiliar with the retailer's internal supply chain. They need to understand the retailer's replenishment and distribution systems. Specifically, they need to understand the retailer's process, including how orders are generated by the retailer and then shipped from replenishment and distribution systems to the store. They should also understand how the stores receive the orders and prepare them for the shelving process. And finally, suppliers should understand the retailer's distribution strategies. Understanding the retailer's supply chain strategies and capabilities helps suppliers understand how to align with them and consider the implications of their recommendations on the supply chain.